Hello and welcome to the channel. Let's have a look here on some of the movers in the crypto space, and let's go over some news today. As we can see here in the top 10 or so, we don't really have, it's not that much. It's Bitcoin Cash 5%, you have KuCoin 10%. It's of course this exchange, and I mean the rest of them here, I don't even know if Augur, Ontology 3% is not a whole lot. And if we look on the downside, what do we have there? Wanchain was 3%. Well, it seems pretty quiet. VeChain just giving back a little bit here. Nothing to write home about. Bitcoin Cash though has been on the move. I don't know what's going on there exactly. If Roger Ver is having another ace up his sleeve or something, but it's moving higher here. Bitcoin is holding pretty steady around the 3.9 level, and if we look at some of the bigger ones here, Ethereum it's just basically flatlining a bit here. So there still seems to be we still seem to be in some kind of a accumulation phase maybe. Estonia is secretly rising to be Europe's startup nation. I mean, this is something that we've been talking about, that they're using Estonia as some kind of a digitalization country experiment. I mean, kind of like Sweden to some extent, but this is even more, they're even more extreme here in Estonia. And they keep on saying here, with one of the highest rates of startups per capita in Europe, Estonia is considered by many as a startup paradise. A status is earned thanks to the numerous governmental initiatives focusing on supporting technology and small business. Another key indicator is startup employment, which has also been on the rise, demonstrating Estonia's insatiable demand for tech workers. They're going through the ride of a lifetime, said Stan Tamkivi, president of the Startup Leader Club. Startup community formed in 2009. Total employments in our startups passed 5,000 in 2018 and is projected to continue the 30% annual growth seen in the last years. And I mean, I don't know if these figures are exactly correct, but it's been in the news the last few years that there are a lot of startups, and then there, of course, they have backing by governments and other entities as well to become this kind of hub in Europe. One of the government's latest initiatives to attract more tech workers is the Digital Nomad Visa, an initiative still in preparation, that's expected to launch later this year. That could be interesting as well, that you can travel around. And I think Thailand has a similar one, if it's correct. And why most people fail to understand Bitcoin. Here is some guy arguing that people fail to appreciate Bitcoin because they only specialize in one field. I mean, that's maybe could be the case. At least that's what this article talks about. Learning more about cryptography, game theory, central banking, psychology, and distributed systems. Of course, that helps, yes. Having some idea about these fields should help people in truly appreciating Bitcoin and what it aims to offer. While pursuing their undergraduate studies, most people usually choose one or two main areas of focus, such as economics or business studies, or a more technical discipline such as computer or mechanical engineering. But of course, if you have a little bit of a knowledge in all of these fields, or in most of these fields, then you can quickly see why this is attractive to some extent. Understanding the importance of purchasing power and deflationary assets. Unlike fiat currencies, which are inflationary, central banks can print an unlimited amount. I mean, this is a key word there. Unlimited versus limited. Of paper money, there can never exist more than 21 million bitcoins. I think this was one of the main reasons as well, that when some of us saw this, we realized that this is a huge advantage, at least for capital gains at that point, before we understood that maybe there's other uses for this technology as well. Not only for speculation, but certainly for that as well. And being able to understand the implications of this when it comes to purchasing power requires some research into various problems related to the fiat-based currency system. And then we're of course talking about central banks and this whole globalization thing that is going on, and the zombie nations that are being kind of graded. In countries like Zimbabwe and Venezuela, the national currency has become practically worthless because it's being created and controlled by poorly managed centralized bank. Yeah, this is basically on a global. This is a global phenomenon, but of course works better in the Western world. And what else did it say here? What is Rubini? Stop reading about him. In places where the country's citizens have lost trust in the national currency and financial system due to corruption, it will become, yeah, that's all over the place. It will become increasingly difficult for the same centralized institutions to regain the same level of trust they once took for granted. Because decentralized currencies like Bitcoin and others are designed to minimize trust, They want to maximize trust, right? As they don't require intermediaries to settle transactions. It can be challenging at first to become comfortable with this idea. Yeah, this is true. It takes some time to kind of get used to it. Will it be like Web 3.0? When the average person is first introduced to these crypto-related concepts, it can be challenging to fully understand how a monetary system like this could actually work. After carefully reviewing how a blockchain is designed to function, it becomes easier to start grasping how decentralized digital currencies such as Bitcoin can be reliably used to pay for goods and services. That's something that we've seen as well over the last few years, that it's growing. I mean, you can now pay with Bitcoin and others for certain services, for traveling, for this and that. I mean, even in the beginning, well, in 2015 or something, you can buy even apartments in Dubai with Bitcoins. So there are some people that are realizing this. It's of course not widespread all over the place yet, but the goal is to to be able as well, if you go into a Starbucks or a McDonald's or something, to be able to pay with this as well for a cup of coffee, as easy as you do with cash or any other digital mesh use that you use today. Let's see here, maybe the final thing here. Let's see, money over IP, a new catchphrase set to change the future of banking and finances, what they call MOIP. Yeah, this is kind of a new phrase. Yeah, when you hear the word MOIP for the first time, it's nothing more than a funny little word. However, it's a word that carries a much bigger meaning. In fact, it may just be the word that will change the future of finances and banking, and that could very well be the case. The word MOIP, which he used during the blockchain-based talk, is actually short for money over IP. It's an important use case for blockchain, possibly the biggest one so far, since it can change so much. Everyone who tried to send or receive money from one country to another can confirm that this is a lengthy process that often takes days to complete. I mean, we all know this. This is so annoying. And so far, people had to use wire transfers in order to complete such transactions. A few decades ago, that was great, of course, and it definitely beats snail mail. However, these days things operate on a different standard. If we can send emails instantly, instead of waiting for days or weeks for a letter to arrive, the same can certainly be done with the money. And it's true, it can. With this MOIP, such transactions can be completely instantly. I don't know who wrote this article. In fact, the process is pretty similar to sending a single email. I mean, we're seeing this as well with XRP, that some banks are using that as well to kind of replace SWIFT or use it as a similar service. And we all know as well, I mean, sending money over this kind of system is usually pretty quick. There's probably improvements to be made there as well, but it's you know, quicker than doing a wire transfer. Cryptocurrencies and blockchain technologies strive to bring a new age of decentralization. This is at least the idea for now. However, this tech is still in its early days. I've been saying that for years now. However, there's no lack of excitement. As stated earlier, eventually banks around the world will be forced to adopt at least blockchain, if not crypto. Otherwise, they will risk being left behind and becoming a relic of the past. Yeah, this is most likely true as well. Yeah, if they don't adapt to new technologies, then that could very well be the case, and especially these paradigm shifts. I mean, banks that didn't use internet in the 90s or something, I mean, probably people started using other banks or other forms of institutions that actually did. So it's important to kind of develop, I guess, as well. Okay, I think that's it for now. We learned a few things, and that's it for this Monday. Take care, guys.